Hi everyone, this is Srushti Deshmukh. In this video clip, I would be answering some of the questions that I have been getting repeatedly. I have tried to compile a couple of most asked questions, around 12, 13 questions, and at the end there is a message for all of you who are preparing and who are ask questions and who are who are into the CSE preparation. I have tried to cover most of the topics, and I have also provided timestamps so you can directly jump to the question which is of importance to you. And since it was too long, so I have divided this entire thing into two parts, part 1 and 2, so you can listen to my answers and my take on the questions that you asked. The first and the most common question is how to start. To start the civil service exam preparation at whatever stage you are right now, I would recommend that there are 4 phases in your preparation, or 4 level of resources that you will have to refer. The first is the newspaper. It can be your starting point. It will take you through the important things that are there, what current affairs is going on, what is going on in the society, and what could be asked. All of this you will be understanding while you read the newspapers, so keep that as the first step wherever you are starting. Along with that, or the second part, which I would say, is your NCRTs. NCRTs I read from 6 to 12 standard, and I did not refer to old NCRTs. I only went through the new NCRTs. NCRTs are those books, are your base books, which will ultimately give you the base for understanding other books or material that you will refer to. That will be the second level which you should be studying or spending time with. Don't spend too much time on NCRTs, but just cover it pretty well. I use the I use the ePathshala app, which is there on the store. You can download, and they have all NCRTs in digital format. So wherever you go, on the go, you can read them. And the notes of NCRTs are also available on online websites like Learn CBSE or Ask Something. Though you can find out the notes and websites, not much of a problem. There you can see and refer to it. The next level of preparation that I would say that we have to refer to is the standard books. Now these standard books are books for each and every subject. Like we read like M. Lakshmikant for the polity section, then some of us read Ramesh Singh for economy section. So all of these books, for every subject, those are your standard books, and those are the books that you will refer to for the the next level of your preparation for the civil service exam. And lastly, which is equally and very important, the level that you have to work on is the answer writing and the tests. Ultimately, the mains is the biggest determining factor of your selection. You have to practice answer writing in advance, and after you have prepared, for example, you've covered your NCRTs, you can go on to write 1 or 2 answers every day. Either you can pick up topics from the current affairs, or which are given on many websites. You can write answers there, and after that, when you have a sufficient amount of knowledge and have covered your standard books, then you can also pick some of the other test series that is available. Giving test is an equally important part of civil service exam preparation. So I will say these are the 4 levels or 4 phases in which you should be preparing. The second thing that is being asked very much is how to read the newspaper, or how to make notes out of it, and how to go about it. See, since I have been stressing on reading newspaper, I would say at least in the initial part of your preparation, please take a physical newspaper. I referred to the Hindu for most of the part of my preparation. It was only when I had cleared my mains and I was preparing for my interview that I started reading the Indian Express. But I also found that the Indian Express is also a good newspaper with good articles. Anyways, for the preparation of my mains part, I kept reading articles from other newspapers as well, and the Hindu was my basic source. Now when it comes to newspaper reading, You have to be very clear कि what sections are important and what are not. हर चीज़ ज़रूरी नहीं है कि important हो, और ये आपको तभी पता चलेगा when you will be, आप तब जब you will be in hold of your UPSC syllabus and the previous year question papers. जब आपको ये पता चल जाए कि ये दो चीज़ें कितनी क्या इनमें क्या क्या important है, तभी आप समझ सकते हैं कि न्यूज़पेपर में क्या चीज़ important. Only then you will be able to understand which thing is important in the civil service exam. So first things first, editorials are very important. कहीं पर भी आप पढ़ रहे हैं उसका जो एडिटोरियल सेक्शन है वो सबसे ज़रूरी है. वहाँ पर हर कोई अपने ओपिनियंस लिखते हैं, और जो ओपिनियंस वहाँ पे छपते हैं, वट एवर ओपिनियंस आर प्रिंटेड इन द न्यूज़ पेपर are authentic. Some of the other level they are there, they are recognized names. So please go through that section very well. हो सकता है कभी कभार यू विल कम अक्रॉस एन आर्टिकल विच इज़ लीनिंग ऑन वन साइड. कभी आप ऐसे आर्टिकल के आसपास आएंगे, आप पढ़ेंगे इनको, तो आपको हर व्यू पॉइंट से उस मुद्दे को पढ़ना है. यू हैव टू रीड द viewpoint from different dimensions, and then you have to decide on your own ki which exactly is the middle path or what you should be writing in your answers. So this will come with practice. Please do read the editorial section, that is the most important. After that, moving on to the inner sections, sometimes you get news on environment section, sometimes you'll get on the science and technology that this satellite was launched, या फिर इस तरीके का अभी इसरो का ये एक नया प्रोजेक्ट लॉन्च हुआ है. ऐसी चीज़ें इंपॉर्टेंट होती हैं न्यूज़पेपर में. इसके अलावा कभी कोई और इंटरनेशनल विज़िट है, जो इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस का पेज होता है, दैट पेज विल टेक you through all the current dynamics that are happening. And sometimes you will also get articles on international relation dynamics in the opinion section. So वो भी important हो जाता है. I think that's all about reading newspapers. After while you're talking about making notes, so I'll say editorial section is one key. It's good to make notes because when you categorize information, जब आप information को एक जगह पर रखते हैं categorize करके, तो even learning becomes easy. उसको याद करना भी आसान हो जाता है. तो कभी कभार you'll come across an article, suppose on the Parliament of India, then again after some 10 days you again get an article on it, so you can just add that into your notes, and that is why I always suggest that please make notes on plain loose A4 size blank papers. Don't use ruled copies, because that is how we have to write answers in the real exam, and loose sheets रहेंगे तो you can keep adding on to it. So that is my take on newspaper reading and making notes out of it. The next question that comes up is the book list. Which books have you referred and what have you done? I have written all the books that I have referred to for the different topics and subjects on a paper, and I have posted it in the community section of this channel. So you can directly go to the community section and you can open up the photograph, and you can see I have put up all the books that I have read. I have started from the NCERT 6 to 12 basic. I have one column of the basic books and another for the reference books of the advanced study. You can access it from there. The comment section, the community section, you can access by clicking on the channel, this one icon, and then you can get to that community section where I have put up it. You can see it from there. So I had uploaded a video where I compiled every website that could be helpful in some or the other manner, and there have been questions ki how to follow the websites, how to follow them all, and did I follow them all together. See, I categorize those websites, and the categorization precisely means that you don't have to read every website every single day. Whenever you are reading the environment section, you can go through that website. Whenever you're going through the general studies paper 4 section, you can go to one or two websites that I mentioned. Coming to the current affairs, reading the newspaper and going through the compilation of the websites that I have mentioned. Now how I did it, I'll just tell you. See, reading the newspapers is a must. When you first hand read something, you're able to better understand. So unless and until you have very much of a time constraint, please read the newspaper on your own first. Then you can, at the end of the day, as I had in one of my videos, I told the typical study day. So I started with the newspaper, then I picked up any static portion, anything that I had planned for in 2 or 3 slots. I used to complete that, and at the end of my study day, what I used to do is I used to go through these sometimes I used to read the daily current affairs part of the insights, and then for some days I used to read the daily compilation of IS Baba, or sometimes, so I used to switch from one to another. See, we are humans. We are bound to getting bored by following one single routine. So spice your study things by moving from one platform to other, whichever you feel is better, whichever you feel is completing the and properly covering the syllabus or whatever topics. That's completely your choice. I just mentioned it there because I felt that they are important, and every website or every institute has a flavor of its own. So choose what fits best to you, and follow the websites in a limited manner. You don't have to expand all your resources and cover everything, बट समटाइम्स जैसे कभी इच्छा हो जाती थी तो मैं न्यूज़ ऑन AIR पे वो स्पॉट जो हमारा न्यूज़ एनालिसिस प्रोग्राम है वो सुन लिया करती थी. कभी इफ़ आई वॉज ट्रैवलिंग तो आई यूज टू लिसन टू द राज्यसभा TV वीडियो. सो एवरीथिंग कैन नॉट बी डन इन वन सिंगल डे. That is a given. Okay, we have limited time, but whatever you can manage, whatever I have done, I have put it up ki you can manage somehow in some or the other day. So you have to, it's a very personal thing. You have to customize it on your own, what suits you and how you can find time for it. The only gist is that you have to be aware of the current issues, and you have to have some viewpoints on it, which can of especially of the topics which could be asked in the exam. That's the only thing. Another very prominent question that I'm getting is कि हिंदी मीडियम में क्या पढ़ना है, हिंदी माध्यम के छात्रों से कि एग्जैक्टली क्या बुक्स हम पढ़ें और कैसे हम आगे जाएं. हिंदी मीडियम में थोड़ा सा मेरे ख्याल से मटेरियल का प्रॉब्लम आता है कि क्या मटेरियल है नहीं है. तो एक बात आपको मैं सबको बताना चाहूँगी कि UPSC कभी भी कोई भी बायस नहीं रखता है टुवर्ड्स एनी मीडियम. अगर आप आंसर लिखते हैं, अगर उन्हें लगता है कि हाँ ये तगड़ा आंसर है, इसमें सही पॉइंट्स है, तो आपको पॉइंट्स मिलते हैं. क्योंकि चाहे मीडियम इंग्लिश हो या हिंदी, हम सब अलग अलग आंसर्स, कुछ अलग व्यू पॉइंट लिखते हैं, पर मार्क्स हम सबको मिलते हैं. तो माध्यम का कोई रुकावट नहीं है. रुकावट मटेरियल की हो सकती है. मैं कुछ दिनों पहले दिल्ली गई थी, कुछ लोगों से वहाँ पर मिली, तो जो हिंदी माध्यम के छात्र थे, और वो अब कह रहे हैं कि अब जो है, अब थोड़ा सा मटेरियल का जो प्रॉब्लम पहले था वो अब कम होता जा रहा है. कई सारे ऐसे इंस्टीट्यूट्स हैं, जैसे दृष्टि IAS है. मैंने वहाँ पे अपना मॉक इंटरव्यू दिया था. आई गिव माई मॉक इंटरव्यू एट दृष्टि IAS. सो वहाँ पे एंड देन आई वेंट थ्रू देयर वेबसाइट इन हिंदी. तो दे हैव प्रोवाइडेड लॉट ऑफ मटीरियल्स. दे प्रोवाइड यू मटीरियल, यू कैन बाय इट देयर. देयर इज़ अ लॉट ऑफ फ्री content also. Then there are magazines for Drishti. They have their own curriculum in it. See, there is material available in Hindi also. Then there is one more website I was going through, that was GS Hindi, gshindy.com. वहाँ पर भी हिंदी में आपको मिलेगा मटेरियल, आप वहाँ से एक्सेस कर सकते हैं. इसके अलावा दिस अ टीचर इन भोपाल, इनकी वेबसाइट है afeis.com करके, AFEIAS. द टीचर्स नेम इज़ डॉक्टर विजय अग्रवाल. वो भी शायद कुछ हिंदी में डालते रहते हैं. और तो इस तरीके से जो भी आपको हिंदी में रिसोर्सेज मिलते हैं, आप उससे पढ़िए. पर आप आंसर राइटिंग ज़रूर कीजिए, टेस्ट सीरीज़ ज़रूर ज्वाइन कीजिए. और दिल्ली में काफ़ी कुछ अवेलेबल है. वहाँ के फ़ोटोकॉपी के नंबर्स आप देख सकते हैं इंटरनेट पे, और आप उन्हें कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं कि हमें यही मटेरियल की आवश्यकता है. तो हिंदी माध्यम आप इस तरीके से कवर कर सकते हो सकता है थोड़ा सा आपको एक स्टेप आगे जाना पड़े, थोड़ा मटेरियल ज़्यादा जुटाना पड़े, पर और कोई रुकावट नहीं है, और कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, कोई बायस नहीं है. अच्छे से आप पढ़ाई कर सकते हैं. Another important aspect for the civil service exam preparation is planning and making targets. Now many of us, the people who are telling you how to do it, they talk about that planning is important and target making is important. मैंने भी ये चीज़ कई बार कही है. और कई बार सवाल ऐसा आता है कि कैसे टारगेट्स बनाएं, हम कैसे समझें कि हमें कितने वक्त में क्या पढ़ना है. तो देखिए, इट प्योरली डिपेंड्स ऑन हाउ मच टाइम डू यू हैव फॉर गिविंग द एग्ज़ाम. सपोज you are in your second third year of your college and you have 1 or 2 years for giving the exam. So your preparation, आपका जो प्लानिंग रहेगा उसमें आपके टारगेट्स जो रहेंगे आप अच्छे रख सकते हो कि आपके पास you have 2 months for history, 2 months for geography, or 2 months for covering this static part or that static part. You have ample amount of time. लेकिन एट द सेम टाइम इफ़ यू हैव टू गिव द एग्ज़ाम नेक्स्ट ईयर, इफ़ यू अगर आपको अगले साल 2020 में एग्ज़ाम देनी है तो आपके टारगेट्स अलग होंगे, बिकॉज फिर आपको एक महीने के अंदर ये सिलेबस सारे जो टॉपिक्स हम बात कर रहे थे वो उनको कवर करने पड़ेंगे. तो क्या what should be your daily target or your weekly or monthly target, that purely depends on when you have to give the exam. That's the first point. The second point when it comes to planning and making targets is that you have to divide the topics of the syllabus along with the time that you take for completing that part. Sometimes what I used to do, for example, I'm reading M. Lakshmikant. I used to see ki Parliament chapter mein it is of 30-40 pages, okay, total. So I used to divide those pages into some time slots. I used to say ki 20 pages I'll do in 1 hour or 1.5 hour, and rest I will do in the next slot. So this way I used to divide based on my own speed and understanding of that subject. See, that is very personal. Sometimes somebody enjoys reading history, so they would not take so much time into reading. I could not enjoy history, so I took a lot of time in completing it. So it is very personal. Find out what you think you are able to do fast enough. Make a timetable according to it. And why making target is important, that I've stressed earlier also, I'll say again, that before you sleep, please make a timetable, please make a small routine of what you're going to do the next day. Do it daily. हम एक टाइम टेबल को हर रोज़ फॉलो नहीं कर सकते हैं, हमारा हर दिन डिफरेंट होता है, every day is different. So make a separate routine while you before you sleep. Just plan for 15-20 minutes what you are going to cover, how you are going to cover, and you can keep broad targets. You can take some out time for revision also, ki Sunday to Sunday you are revising, or you can take some time out for 1 or 2 answer writing in a day also. That also you can do for planning. So your entire subjective planning depends on how much time you have, what speed you have for covering a particular subject, and what interest or what weightage that particular topic has in the exam. तो ये सब बातों का एनालिसिस करिए एंड देन मेक योर टाइम टेबल.